Hello VC, Michael, Clash City Rocker, with another video, this video about compilation records, specifically compilation records from the 80s, which is kind of a genre of music that I know some people like and some people don't like, but I've always been a huge fan. In fact, one of the early 80s compilations, and I've seen people in the VC show this before, is this one. This is the K-Tel record, and those of us of a certain generation remember K-Tel records in the 70s being kind of like hodgepodge, kind of random collections. They would always have a theme, but they didn't really seem to be completely thematic. And sometimes they would have as many as 20 tracks on it, which meant that the tracks were really compressed. This one, however, is really good, and this is from 1982, probably towards the end of K-Tel's run. It's called The Beat. Sound waves of the 80s, and you can kind of see some of the artists on here. And many of these are those one-hit wonders for bands. I Ran, So Far Away, Flock of Seagulls, Kids in America, Kim Wilde, Love Plus One, Haircut 100, I Got You, Split Ends, I Know What Boys Like the Waitresses, We Got the Beat, Go-Go's, I Want Candy, Bow Wow Wow, Girls on Film, In the Name of Love, Dreaming of Me, Joan of Arc, Hot in the City. They're great like pop tunes. So I've always liked compilations, and whenever I can, I try to buy 80s compilations, but not of the typical, Top Gun, Variety, Flashdance. It's just not the kind of music I listen to. But what I often listened to in the 80s was alternative or new wave, or most often 80s English pop. And John Hughes was a fellow traveler in terms of his love of 80s music from England and indie bands in particular. So this is a video about John Hughes movie soundtracks. But before I begin, thank you to those of you who have watched my videos. My snarky comment is the brave, the few, the fewer. I appreciate the views. I appreciate the people who have subscribed. I really appreciate the comments, because my goal, again, making these videos is to engage people in the VC in a conversation about music and records. If you like my videos, let me know what you like about them. Continue to make them. But anyways, John Hughes compilations. And John Hughes, in his movies, which are kind of like the pantheon of 80s kids, teen movies, beginning with this one, 16 Candles, there's Molly Ringwald, was the archetype for teen comedies. And the soundtracks were quite good. Now, this is one I've seen in stores in the past and I haven't picked up because it's only a 5-track EP. One that I've had for a very, very long time was probably the only of these movies I've actually seen back in the day. I'm a little too old for these movies when they came out, or at least I pretended I was. I was past my teen years when this came out. I think this movie came out in 1985. I was in my 20s by that point in time. I did like this movie. This is a great movie. Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, blanking Emilio Estevez, and Ali Sheedy. A great one. And of course, the song Don't Forget About Me. So a few years ago, in 2022, this compilation came out where it was about 2-record set of some of the songs that come from those soundtracks. And since I only had 2 of the soundtrack records, I was like, oh, I got to get this. And then I also heard that there was a box set, which is 6 records on red vinyl. And it was pretty pricey at the time. And it's like, oh, I love 80s compilations, but do I really want to spend the money? So I just bought this, the 2-record set. And I compared the tracks, like, what am I missing? What am I not missing? I said, I'll be fine with this. And then I bought this, and I absolutely love it. It is such a good mix, track after track. Now, are there a couple I don't like as much as others? Sure, that's true of any compilation, or any album for that matter. You're not going to like them all. And I kept playing this, and I kept playing this, and I kept playing this. And then I found a cheap version of this, brand new, and I bought it. 6 records, 80s pop, 80s indie alternative, heavy on the English bands that I love. Well worth the price. Even now, I still think you can get it relatively cheap. So, what's on those records? Again, my background is academia. I do data analysis, is my thing. So what's on these boxes? What's on the soundtracks? Are they worth it? So the box has 74 titles. And then the soundtracks that existed during the time that those movies were issued were 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Weird Science. By the way, this copy with the barcode, and it says MCA 6152 with no CRC anywhere. This is not on Discogs. So Weird Science, Some Kind of Wonderful, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and She's Having a Baby. Now, these are, and what is there? 6 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. These are the only soundtracks that were released contemporaneously with the movies that were produced. So, just a quick side note. My absolute favorite of them is this one. Not a great movie. Nothing against Kevin Bacon. And is it Elizabeth McGovern? Yes. Fine actors and actresses. But there's a Dave Wakeling song. Then Love and Rockets. You know about my love of Love and Rockets. Haunted When the Mints Drag. I mentioned that on my Sad Bastard video. Gene Loves Jezebel. Ecstasy, Brian Ferry. Everything But the Girl, Kate Bush. And then Camel and Dr. Calculus. This is a great soundtrack. So, what's on these ones? The box has 74 titles. The soundtracks have 75 or 65 tracks across 7 different albums. Now, what's interesting is 33 of the titles that are on the box are also on the soundtracks. But 47 tracks are in the box only. So if the thing about the movies is not every song that was in the movies ended up on the soundtracks. And there's a variety of different reasons for that. Director's choice. It says here, Hughes had a dispute with Paramount. Executives decided not to release a full soundtrack. He believed the diverse mix of songs would not be what consumers wanted on a single record. And so Hughes made these decisions sometimes about what songs would be on the soundtrack. So he left songs that were in the movies off of the soundtracks. Licensing issues that affects the new order of songs. And then there were subsequent releases. Like apparently there is a 2016 CD-only Ferris Bueller soundtrack. But again, there wasn't one when it first came out. So 47 titles are only on the box. And then what's really interesting is 33 of the titles are only on the soundtracks. And what's really fascinating is 3 of the Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, 5 from Pretty in Pink, 2 from She's Having a Baby, 3 from 16 Candles, 4 from Some Kind of Wonderful, 9 from The Breakfast Club, because the only song from The Breakfast Club that he included in the box is Don't You Forget About Me, which those of you who are Simple Minds fans know that Jim Kerr hated that song, didn't want to record it, didn't even include on any of the Simple Minds records, which is a colossal mistake, particularly trying to break them into the United States. Because that song blew them up huge, but it would have meant Simple Minds being bigger. But artistic integrity. 7 on the soundtrack only for Weird Science, etc. So 33 of the songs you can only get on the soundtracks. It's just bizarre when you really do this kind of analysis. And of course I do, because that's what I am. I'm an academic and I find this kind of stuff fascinating. And then even on Discogs, when you read the reviews of folks who are talking about those records, they mention a bunch of songs, particularly from 16 Candles, that aren't on any of the boxes, that aren't on the box. Happy Birthday by Altered Images, Love of the Common People by Paul Young, Growing Pains by Tim Finn, Wild Sex in the Working Class, Oingo Boingo, and then Geek Boogie and 16 Candles. They're not on the box, but they are on the soundtrack. One from Breakfast Club, which is in the box, Some Kind of Wonderful, and I Can Take Anywhere. Well, anyways, what's on these soundtracks, what's on these boxes, and what are considered some of the greatest tracks of all time that are on John Hughes songs. So I'll put a link to this. It's a really well-written article. It's called Playlist, 14 Iconic 80s Songs from John Hughes Teen Films. And again, those of you who aren't familiar with the films, and I can't show Ferris Bueller, she's having a baby. And these are going in reverse chronological order. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Some Kind of Wonderful. Weird Science. Pretty in Pink. The Breakfast Club. And 16 Candles. Now, other John Hughes movies that existed that are on the box. Uncle Buck, for example, is part of it. The Great Outdoors. So I think they'll end the Ferris Bueller. So those are the three that there's no soundtracks, but they have tracks that are on the soundtrack. Okay, so what are those 14 tracks that are considered the best of them all? So number one, of course, is Simple Minds. Don't You Forget About Me. That's from The Breakfast Club, which is interesting. If you look at there's a lot of instrumentals that are on here. And this is a record people see I see in the record stores all the time. And kids want this. I know a ton high school age kids who have bought this. So anyways, Don't You Forget About Me is number one. Number two, Kajagoogoo and Instrumental 16, which is actually a really cool song. Molly Ringwald's getting ready for school in this video. It's the beginning credits. Number three, The Flower Pot Man by Beat City, which is when Ferris is running through the neighborhood. Great scene, great track, but that's only on the box. Number four, New Order, Thieves Like Us. You all know that song. That's not on the box. That's not on the soundtrack. That was in the movie, neither because of licensing issues. Number five, Bring On the Dancing Horses. What an absolute great songs. We all think about Pretty in Pink, that Psych Furs song, but that's actually a re-recording of it. I don't like it as much, and I don't think anybody's actually listening to the lyrics, just like Pretty in Pink. It's not a really positive song. But anyways, Bring On the Dancing Horses, brilliant Echo and the Bunnymen song, comes in at number five. Number six, Otis Redding, Try a Little Tenderness. If you've never heard Otis before, it would probably blow you away. Number seven, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want. But it's only on the soundtrack, and that's in Pretty in Pink. Number eight, a New Order song, Shell Shock, Pretty in Pink. It's the only New Order song that's either in the box or any of the soundtracks. Number seven, there was another tie for seven. The Dream Academy, their version of that Smith song, is on the Ferris Bueller soundtrack, but it's only in the box. Number nine, Can't Help Falling in Love. We all know the Elvis version. That is Lick the Tins. And then two from The Breakfast Club. Carla DeVito, We Are Not Alone. Wang Chung, Fire in the Twilight. Again, they're only on the soundtrack because the box only has one Breakfast Club song. And then Orchestral Maneuvers, If You Leave. Thompson Twins, If You Were Here. One from Pretty in Pink, one from 16 Candles. They're in both the box and on soundtracks. And then the final one, Spandau Ballet, True, 16 Candles, and box only. So it's such an interesting thing. Again, I love 80s compilations, but if you really want a complete set, you're going to have to get the soundtracks. Here they are. And you know me, if I have a couple, I got to start a collection. I'm a completist, but you got to get the box. So, as I lose it somewhere, it's here. You're going to need the box plus the soundtracks to get close. What's interesting, however, is really my favorite 80s compilation is not the John Hughes movies. It's this one. Repo Man. What label is this on? I don't even know. Oh, San Andrea Records. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So here you go. Repo Man, my actual favorite 80s soundtrack. Although, I'm so happy that John Hughes did this. All right, Michael, Clash City Rocker, go Brewers, with an overview of 80s compilations focusing on John Hughes. Leave a comment. Peace.